Greed. It's the silent killer of traders. The one thing that turns a small mistake into a blown account. I'm a multiple six-figure prop firm trader with dozens of payouts and all kinds of prop firms. And I've been there, just like you. I have been chasing unimaginable profit targets just for that one dream turns into a nightmare. And if you've been trading for any amount of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you want to win in this game, consistency, payouts, and growth over time, then you have to work against the greed. By the end of this video, you will never chase that unreachable profit target. So let's dive in. Okay, so let's jump right in. So the topic of today is greed. And I'm going to show you how you find the root of the problem and change your perspective. Because you first have to identify what is even the cause of the problem, right? Why am I even doing this mistake all over again? And how you can fix your mindset and how math alone beats greed. Once I show you that math can beat greed alone, you're never going to make the same mistake again. Because math is so powerful, especially in trading, that it doesn't matter at all. You will see progress in this, I guarantee you that. But only if you master math. I'm also going to show you my personal traits and how I'm staying disciplined without exception, guys. I'm a trader for many years now and I don't compensate. Never. I am always disciplined to my rules and I never change them. Now, greed is the cause of many more problems in your trading, right? Greed is not only, okay, I'm taking a higher TP than I actually should, but it makes you impatient, right? Because you're shooting for that profit target and it doesn't reach, right? It doesn't reach because it's just so far up or down. And when you close your trades early, you're not sticking to your rules. Well, maybe you do make some profit here and there, but overall, over a long term, you're not following your strategy, therefore you don't have the edge. And obviously, you're making backwards progress. You're not even making progress at all, you're going backwards. And what that does is you get impatient again and the cycle repeats all over again. And that happens over and over again. This is the cycle that you are in right now. And the cause of this is also social media and gurus. Guys, if I see a payout like this, even I myself, as being used to seeing numbers like this on the screen, I'm getting demotivated. Even I. So, for you as a beginner trader or somebody who hasn't seen those type of payouts yet, or in general, no payout at all, then you're going to be automatically demotivated. It's not possible to just look at this and say, well, it's okay, it's a good payout. And some of you say, well, I'm taking this as inspiration. I get it, man. I also took it as inspiration. But over a long period of time, you're thinking to yourself, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not able to achieve this? But you will achieve this if you stick to this, but not right now. And you have to accept this. What I recommend, don't watch social media at all when it comes to payouts and prop firm challenges and stuff like that. And obviously you have your gurus, how I turned 100 into 1 million, the classic. And now let me completely change your perspective on the things. As you can see in this screen, this is a very messed up place and setup to begin with. But this is how I used to trade. And keep in mind that at that time, I was already a profitable trader and I already received payouts. Well, but now you be asking, why didn't you invest in a chair or a table or whatever? So this place right here was a very hard time in my life. I have just moved out to a new place and I just had nothing in there. But I made sure to work with what I had. And this is the most important thing. You have to work with what you have, even if it's just a phone. My PC is very old at that time, right? It can't handle anything basically. But you know the one thing that it was able to handle? Trading. And I made it work with this kind of setup. As you can see, I don't have a chair. I'm sitting on the ground. I don't have a table. I'm using boxes, literally. I was just trying to get creative somehow to get my setup going. And as you can see, I did not have a chair. I'm sitting on the ground. I did also not have a table, so I used boxes for my keyboard and my mouse pad. It's very weird, but it worked. And now you'll be asking, well, but why didn't you take your payouts to buy you this kind of stuff? Well, because the first payout is a test. And not even the first. The first couple of payouts are tests. What do I mean by that? So, when you just get a payout, what are you about to do? There's my question to you. If your answer is similar to, well, I'm going to buy me maybe a nice bracelet or maybe a watch, or I'm going to finance whatever it is, right? Then you have not passed the test because you have to buy new challenges with your payout. That is the only thing you are allowed to buy with that. The only thing. Because if you buy something else, you're not reinvesting your money. You're basically setting up yourself for failure. Even if you're profitable with just that account alone, are you ready to have a 5K account for the rest of your life? Of course not. Make that 3% and try to buy a 10K. But obviously, I would recommend starting with a 25K or 50K if you know that you're profitable. But if you're not profitable, then start with a 5K. And obviously, I'm not living in those kind of conditions anymore. And you can see some of my payouts right now. Okay, so this is completely going to change your perspective. You are closer than you think you are. So let me quickly show you what a typical business, right? Any business, let it be drop shipping, let it be whatever it is, right? Or maybe you're opening a restaurant, whatever it is, right? Let's just imagine you have a restaurant and you're trying to build loyal customers that are visiting your place, right? So your business would probably go like this. So you're starting out at the bottom and then you're immediately going to lose because you are starting at the bottom. But slowly you gain experience, you have your ups and downs that it goes to the bottom again a little bit, but over time you are growing, right? Over time you can see the graph goes up and up and up and up. We had downsides, we had upsides, we had spikes, but then we also went down again, but over the long run we are going higher. Let me show you what trading looks like, because trading doesn't look anything like this. The moment you start trading, you immediately go into a loss, and that is normal. Then you start seeing a little bit of progress. Maybe you had a payout here and there, and you're a break-even trader now. After being break-even, you're going to a loss again. But then you're seeing a little bit of progress, and then you're stuck in this kind of simulation where you just kind of know what you're doing, but at the same time, you're not profitable. But then all of a sudden, you extremely shoot on top of the game. Because the reason for that is, this kind of period is very common for traders because they are stuck in this range where they know so much that it's enough for them to be profitable, but they haven't had that click in their head yet that, okay, I just have to stick to my rules over and over and over again until I am profitable. That is the problem. Now, it's hard to tell if you are at that stage or not, right? But usually that is what it looks like. The reason why the spike is so high up, because if you do the things right, you're getting a payout right in here. That is not going to bring you all the way to the top yet. But if you take that payout, reinvest it into another challenge, then you're going higher. Reinvest it into another challenge again, you go higher, and it goes exponentially up, right? Because just take it as a perspective like this. If your capital is 300K, so basically just 3 100K accounts with FTMO or your favorite prop firm. You only have to make 3% and you already have 6K a month. So the problem here is you're being impatient. Again, greed. Greed takes over you. And I would never recommend to you something that I am not using myself. So let me quickly introduce you to TradeLens. It's a great platform to journal your trades. I'm using it myself and I'm a big fan. I've already improved my strategy just by using it. If you want a 10% discount, you can use the code STARTTRADING, or you can also click the link in the description. Now, after we have talked about the perspective that you might be closer than you think you are, let me show you how to fix that. So there's psychology and there's the math behind it. So guys, it is a marathon, not a sprint. You might have heard that already, but you're not going for a sprint where you just have to run 100 meters and the first one who gets there wins. No. In a marathon, if you go the fastest that you're able to run, right from the start, you're going to be exhausted after 10 minutes. And everybody who was slower before you is going to pass you. That is the principle of a marathon and a sprint. And trading is a marathon. And in that matter, anything in life is a marathon. Let me not just take this as a trading advice. Everything you do in life is a marathon. It takes time. You know what the problem is? People overestimate what they're about to do in 3 months, but they underestimate what they're able to do in 3 years. Now, and this is the gold part of the video, the math behind it, because guys, again, I've told you this a couple of times, the math behind it is just crazy. So you have 100K and you're trying to make 5%. Just look at this target, right? You're risking 1%, you're going for 1, for 5, and just look at this target. Are you really about to hit that? Because I don't think so. Most people will never hit a target like this consistently. You might hit it once or twice, right? But it won't happen consistently. Because statistically, if you are able to do this over and over again, you'll be the richest man on earth. So it's impossible to have this kind of risk reward consistently unless your win rate is extremely high. Then yeah, that is possible. But again, we're not trying to be greedy. So the goal is you're trying to make 5% out of 100K, which is 5K, okay? Accept it. We all want to make that kind of money. So in order to make 5K on a 100K account, you would have to risk 5% with a 1-for-1, right? So on a prop firm challenge, you're immediately out. If you just lose that trade, the prop challenge is gone. So what are we trying to do? 1% of 500K is also 5K. So that is still a 1-for-1. What we did is we increased our capital, not our risk. This is the problem, guys. You're trying to increase your risk and your risk to reward. But you just have to increase your capital and everything else will just come to you. And if you want to take it even a step further, right? This is where you have basically master trading, right? Greed can't touch you anymore because you're just so far away. If you have 1 million in funding, right? And guys, that is possible. Everything is possible. Don't limit yourself with a 25K account. You can have 1 million. So now I only have to hit a 1 for 0.5 in order to make 5K, right? And I'm risking 1% on the account as of originally risking 5% to get 5K. And if I lose, the prop firm challenge is gone, or the prop firm funded account for that matter. So again, greed will not touch you at this point anymore, even not at this point if you really just stay disciplined. And now quickly on to my trade. So my trade is looking very simple, and as you can see, my risk reward is very low. That is very normal in our way of trading. Join the link in the description to know more about it. And as you can see, I'm not even going for that low. So most people would assume, okay, we're going for the low, but I know my rules. I have backtested this over and over again. I know what will work, which is exactly why I'm not going all the way for that low. I'm just shooting for a very, very easy target, guys, because as you can see, although this might return back into a win, if I would put the take profit in here, it is just unnecessary to go on with that risk. Would you be happier to just close the day right in here? You made profit and you close the day, you close TradingView, you go on with your day and spend time with your family? Or would you rather have your take profit right in here and just wait for hours, days until it gets hit, right? So I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm just trying to make money out of the market. That's the only thing that matters here. I've backtested so much that I have nightmares of the charts. So I cannot fail. I know that I will be profitable over the long run if I just stick to my rules over and over again. And you have to journal and backtest your trades, because if you don't do this, you don't have the confidence. You need to have the confidence in order to do this stuff. Because if I didn't do that beforehand, then I will be shooting for those crazy targets as well, because I used to do that. But you have to stop that and get yourself together. And if my way of trading is so questionable to you because my risk reward is very low, then you have to join the Discord in the description. I'll tell you everything in there.